I'm Jessica, and this is ATC Presents Daebak K-Rambles, where a couple of friends review Korean dramas. And welcome to another episode. Today, I have a repeat guest with me, Minal from the Crash Landed on Kdramas Podcast. How are you, Minal?
Hey Jess, I am fantastic and thank you for having me over again to discuss the drama that we are going to go in depth about.
Yes, I'm so happy that you agreed to come on. It was kind of a last minute thing, but I'm so excited that we're going to talk about Little Women today. It's a 2022 drama that I know that you had watched, and I was like, Mina, would you like to come on and like talk about Little Women? And you were like, yes. So I'm excited to talk about it. How have you been? Like, what have you been up to? I think it's a holiday for you, right?
Yes. So actually, it's Diwali time for us. The last whole week. It started last Saturday and it went on till yesterday. I was just telling you, I had a Diwali party yesterday night. I came home very late at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I've had a very lazy Sunday. But I had a fantastic week because my mom is here. My uncle and aunt are here. I've got family here. So yes, we were all together after 5 years celebrating Diwali. Yes.
Oh my God, that is so special.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you. Yeah. I'm sure the pandemic kind of hindered a lot of family coming
also,
over.
Also, we couldn't go down generally we do go down to India for Diwali, but my cousin has not always been able to tie her timings. So it was nice to have all of them here together and celebrate together. So yes, it was.
What a blessing.
Yes,
I'm so happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. That's a cool way to say, like, what have you been up to? Oh my God, I had my whole family over and we're celebrating. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yes.
I do want to kind of segue into a little bit of a somber note because we are recording this within a couple of days of the Itaewon tragedy that happened during Halloween festivities. And it is absolutely heartbreaking. I've been following the news, and you know, my prayers go out to all the victims, all the families that are dealing with this right now. And I know that as more news comes out and people are mourning, and Korea's in national mourning right now, I just want to say that we are really cognizant of that and we're really respectful of that. And I know that some people might rather not have recorded a podcast, might not have put out a podcast this week, but I feel that deeply, kind of the same way that Nunes Nunchi posted something earlier, that people are kind of going through secondary trauma right now. And if they need a distraction, if they want to get their mind off things, if they want to listen to a podcast on a K-drama that they watched this year, then I'm here for that. I would love to be there for people and comfort them in some way, shape, or form by talking about a K-drama for an hour and a half. Yeah. So this is for you if you feel like you need a distraction, if you feel like this is going to comfort you in some way. I hope that it does. And if not, if this is not the right time, then please press pause or do what you need to do and come back later if you feel inclined. So I did want to say that at the top. You know, we're there. We stand with all of the Korean citizens that are dealing with this right now worldwide. It's making national news. And, you know, I'm heartbroken and I'm grieving with you guys.
Yeah, same. Jessica, thank you for saying this. It was very shocking for me in the morning when I went through the news. I couldn't believe what's happening. And really young people and the stampedes are such a big tragedy because you are out there to celebrate, and to not have your loved one come back, I wouldn't wish this on anyone. So all my condolences and prayers are with the families of those who've lost their loved one in this horrible tragedy. And like you said, if this helps you get your mind off, I think we've done our little bit here.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to segue into some housekeeping. So if this is your first time listening, thank you so much for pressing play. And please go ahead and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many more. And if you like us, please do give us a review on five stars, please, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can come say hi on social media to stay up to date on everything that we're doing here at Daebak. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at ATC Daebak Pod. And lastly, if you're a fan, the best way to be a fan is to support us by becoming a patron. It's such a great way for you to get involved. And you can check out the page on patreon.com/alwayscriticpod. And I do want to shout out our patrons, CD, Cindy, Robin, Bale, Curtis. I think that's all of you guys. I'm so sorry I didn't have it in front of me. That was from memory. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys. All right, so I'm going to get started on reading the My Drama List synopsis for Little Women. Here we go. It's really short. I didn't put the whole thing in this document. So here we go. 3 sisters get involved in a case that leads them to fight against the richest and most influential family in South Korea. Little Women aired originally from September to October 2022, and we are recording this at the very end of October. So this is really fresh. We are recording basically on a brand new drama, literally just finished airing. It's 12 episodes long, and it's directed by Kim Go-Eun, and she directed soundtrack number 1, Vincenzo from 2021, Crown Clown, Warm and Cozy. So this is kind of a Kim Go-Eun season because we covered the Crown Clown and Vincenzo in season 3, which is quite, I mean, I didn't necessarily plan for it to be a Kim Go-Eun season, but here we are. Things happen. And,
for a reason.
I mean, it's good. There's trends definitely in this season. So it's written by Jung Seok-young, and she has written a bunch of movies. She's a frequent collaborator with Park Chan-wook. So she's written Decision to Leave. She's written The Handmaiden from 2016. I'm a Cyborg, But That's Okay. Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. These are all crime thrillers. And so you can kind of get a sense of what she's specializing in. And then she's also written the K-drama Mother from 2018, which I hear is excellent. I have never seen it. Have you?
No, I haven't. I actually now have put it on my watch list because of seeing what the writer showed in Little Women. So yes, Handmaiden. Yes. I started Handmaiden. I need to complete it. I had to take a pause.
No, you... it's valid because that movie is very interesting and heavy. Yes. Did you get through like the first part of the movie?
I've actually got through like 20 minutes of it, and I had to pause. And now I'm like, I need to stretch myself and watch it for sure. It's intrigued me like anything, but don't break it. Don't break it for me. I
will not ruin anything. Me and Miguel, my good friend Miguel, who's been on a couple podcast episodes, we reviewed it for the Patreon feed, and that we were just like giggling the whole time. Like we had a time with The Handmaiden, but that's another story. Again, become a patron because then you can listen to it. Review, which was very entertaining. We were entertained at the very least. Yeah, so Little Women stars Kim Go-Eun as Oh Eun-ju, and of course she's been in about 11 movies. She's The Goblin's Bride, she's been in Yumi Cells, The King Eternal Monarch, Goblin, She's in the Trap. She's a very well-known name, and it also stars Nam Ji-Hyun as Oh Eun-kyung, middle sister, and she's starred in The Witch's Diner, 365, Repeat the Year, 100 Days My Prince, which is a very good sageuk, and Suspicious Partner, which is an excellent like law. Do you love that one? It's amazing.
It's my favorite rom-com. It is my ultimate favorite rom-com. Yes, I love SP. I am shouting about it all the time. Nam Ji-Hyun is my favorite actress, and Ji Chang-wook and Nam Ji-Hyun are my favorite couple.
That's respectable. That's so respectable because they are so good in Suspicious Partner.
Have you watched Have you watched the BTS? Their BTS were more fun. I was like, these guys have rocking chemistry. Why are they not in a drama again?
Oh crap! All right, well, so I'll have to watch the behind the scenes for Suspicious Partner.
Just YouTube it.
Oh, nice. All right, to round out the sisters, we have Park Ji-woo, and she stars as Oh Eun-hae. She's the youngest sister, and you might have seen her most recently on All of Us Are Dead from 2021.
I haven't watched that, but I need to. Maybe Halloween is a good time tomorrow to
That is a perfect time to watch All of Us Are Dead because it's a zombie thriller show.
Exactly.
Yeah. This cast is kind of extensive, but I'm just going to limit it to the 3 sisters, and we can go in and out with the other cast members as we need to. All this being said, Minal, what did you think of Little Women?
I'll be honest. So I watch everything Nam Ji-Hyun stars in, okay? And I was very intrigued by, because I've read the book ages ago when I was in school.
Right, yeah. Of course, I think people know that Little Women, the name and the sisters, the basic premise is based on the Louisa May Alcott book, which is a classic American novel.
Yeah. And the book is a coming of age drama. The mother is very loving. These four sisters are tightly knit and they go through their own journey, etc. Okay, so at the back of, I hope I remember this correctly. Is it the Civil War? I don't remember this correctly, but maybe you can edit this out if you want to.
It is Civil War era.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so when I was intrigued, I kept thinking, Koreans do such great slice of dramas. What are they adapting Little Women into? Okay, so what are they going to do? Because they have great slice of life dramas. So what are they going to do with this book? The first episode caught me completely unawares. I did not expect it to be this dark and sinister and hit with a death in the first episode. So I was piqued. My interest peaked big time. And I think it helped that I was watching it as it aired, and a lot of people, and I got 2-3 of my friends. I said, look, girls, I've seen this. You have to watch this with me because I'm going crazy. I can't be going crazy in my head, theorizing about what's hitting me next. So I need somebody to talk to. And they also started following and they also enjoyed. It was if I have to summarize it, it was a wild ride. That's how I summarize this whole drama. And I liked the thrill of it. I liked the plot twists. Some were there just for the shock element. They could have, even if they were not there, I don't think the drama would have been less captivating. But as I watched it and I rewatched a few episodes, I realized what the writer actually did is she turned the novel on its head, made the sisters really flawed, not the smart, kick-ass women characters that we would like to see. They were flawed, they were foolish, they were naive, they were reckless, selfish. But there was a lot of underlying social commentary through every episode that started to slowly creep in as you start watching the drama. So how the rich exploit the poor, how cults and ideologies can brainwash people, how they prey on the weakness and desperation of people to make them do things that they wouldn't have otherwise done if they were not put in that situation. Abandonment, generational trauma, and I realized that they did it pretty well while keeping it at a level where you were practically not trusting any character. You were just, I kept waiting for when is this character going to turn grey and twist to the dark side. That was my whole approach while watching. So I'm glad a few characters didn't go down the road. But it was a very satisfying watch for me. That's my general summary.
And you liked it, ultimately, I think.
I liked it. I would recommend it. I enjoyed it a lot. It probably would sit in my top 10. I loved it so much.
Oh, wow. Top 10 K-dramas. Okay. So just to say my thoughts, I went into it with a lot of trepidation because I'm a huge fan of the original Little Women. Of course, I read it as a kid and I've watched all the different movie versions, which are extremely popular, especially in today. Like, I'm very surprised that Little Women is kind of like doing so well, but here we are. And they keep remaking it. Anyway, I love Kim Go-Eun and I love this cast, and they were saying, oh, it's like a thriller. And I was like, oh no, I don't know if I can like swing that. That seems really excessive for Little Women. Like, to throw these beloved sisters in a crime thriller, I was not about it. But I think after watching the first episode, I was quite taken with the problems and issues that these sisters had to navigate. And I would say the first half of the show is extremely pitch perfect in terms of tone, in terms of writing, in terms of like these different plot twists and machinations that come across maybe too contrived later in the show as they kind of compound.
Yeah.
And it turns a little more makjang-y than I wanted.
Everybody's using this word makjang. I'm not sure. I thought it was that makjang-y, to be very honest.
Towards the end, I was like, this is a little too excessive and hyperbole for it to just be a casual crime thriller. But anyway, I digress.
It wasn't a crime thriller in the sense. It was a thriller around a financial
that
crime.
was the other thing is that the crime I'm talking about is financial crimes.
Yes.
Crimes that are on paper, crimes that are apparently very difficult to prove in court. Who is responsible? And I guess I'm a little more financially illiterate than I thought. And I use that term heavily because that's a buzzword towards the latter episodes.
Yes.
Financial illiteracy. And that's how some characters just get into trouble because they're just so woefully inept at following these paper trails and these people who are so experts, such experts at deception and financial deception. So I was a little more confused than I wanted to be in the latter episodes, but I made it through, and I would definitely say that this is a masterpiece, definitely more prestige K-drama. And I would put this on par with other K-dramas that do very difficult topics about identity and class and money, like so many different commentaries running concurrently throughout the show. And I feel like that's the smartest part of the show, not to mention the cinematography, the acting, just all of these different set pieces throughout made this a really, I wouldn't say enjoyable watch, but it was a very interesting watch.
Compelling and intriguing would be the right words, probably.
And I feel like it's one of those movies. You see, when something gets like this level of good in K-drama, I start saying movie instead of K-drama.
Correct.
Like subconsciously, I just think it's cinema. Yeah, so I think I liked it. I don't think I'm far removed enough to maybe say that I outright like loved it or that I just disliked it. I think I'm on the fence because I know in the back of my mind it's a really, really, really good drama. But maybe it's not my genre.
Exactly.
Maybe, it's just not written for me specifically, but others who really appreciate this kind of storytelling and this kind of story would appreciate it. Like, I'm not one that necessarily watches true crime. I'm not one that necessarily understands these really complicated stories about financial crimes and what that entails. Like, what does that even look like? So maybe that's why there was a little bit of a disconnect for me on the whole for the show.
Yes.
But I know that Little Women is probably going to go down in history as one of the best K-dramas there is, period.
Yes, it will. It should, in my opinion. I have a financial industries background, so
you see? That's what I'm saying.
But because of that, Jess, towards the end, actually, there were a couple of loopholes and plot holes where I was thinking, how can you not be monitoring these sisters who've been in the thick of this whole slush fund money? Why are they not going to get monitored? How can they not? Anybody with common sense, once there's been a flag, your system has flagged it in the bank's world, on transactions of money. Those automatically should get picked up. Okay, so we'll come to it because it could be a bit of a spoiler. I don't want to spoil it for the audience, but I was struggling with that at the end. But like I said, my viewing experience was completely different because I watched it with such an open mind, like what's going on. And with my friends theorizing along with me, we were really enjoying this as a wild ride. Obviously, like you said, 3-4 things went over the top at the end, but we still didn't mind it. We're like, okay, we'll go along with it.
I feel like that's fair. And I also feel like there's a difference in maybe watching this episode by episode as it was airing than I did when I just like binged it all at once. So I think a lot of the communal fun that happens when you watch a drama as it's airing and you have friends that are watching it with you and you're talking about theories and you're trying to come up with what the hell's going to happen next.
Yes.
What is the significance of this thing that they introduced 2 episodes ago, but then it's repeated now in this episode? Like, things like that are really fun and keep you really engaged with the drama. So I didn't have none of that to go off of.
But
and to make this experience better.
After 6 episodes, I kept thinking, why didn't Netflix drop this or TV and drop it all the 12 together, it would have been such a great bingeable watch for me, because there were a lot of foreshadowing and clues that came very subtly in the first 6 episodes that started to unravel in the latter half. And I was like, oh wait, I have to go rewatch that scene. Was it that what it was referencing to? So there were a couple of scenes like that, especially with Inhe, which came to my mind. So that bit, I felt, oh, this should have dropped. Like, you know how Squid Game dropped with 8 episodes, bang. And everybody got hooked to it. I think this magic would have worked for Little Women.
I agree with you. I think that once you kind of get a drama that's less than 16 episodes, you kind of lose the steam of like 2 episodes a week for 2 months, and everyone's waiting with bated breath for the next episode. When you got 12 episodes and you're still releasing it week to week, it takes a little something out of it.
Exactly.
Especially when each episode is so rich. This is like a rich text.
It's rich text. That's even I read a lot of theories on Reddit and a lot of reviews. Okay. Reddit went bonkers during Little Women. It was hilarious. Amazing. It was amazing because I realized, oh, I missed this point. Oh, she's right about this. Oh, this user said the things that I couldn't have thought about. So it was very immersive experience to watch a drama like this.
Yeah.
I remember this happened during even Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, where there were so many discussions happening. It was crazy. So I was like, I think that also changes your viewing experience. You know, maybe if I'd watched it by myself, alone, maybe I would have gone a bit more bonkers and I'd be like, okay, what is going on? Because I had people to share it with, it became much more enjoyable for me.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was how I watched it. By myself in a dark room.
But I actually have to speak about the cinematography and the background score. I thought this was top-notch cinematography. For me, Mr. Sunshine and Kingdom are like peak. The best I have seen in K-dramas. They don't feel like K-drama. They feel like movie, okay, on a very large
That's what
scale.
I keep saying. It feels very cinematic and prestige.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the camera angles either narrowing on a shot or moving away from the shot or from the character or taking it away. The closed room, which becomes very pivotal in the whole plot towards the latter half, the way it's been built and how it the close-ups that go on the characters and far away. I visited Singapore 7 years ago. I've never seen Singapore look so pristine in a drama. Episode 8 was gorgeous. I can look at episode 8 time and again just for the shots of Singapore as a city. So I really felt it was and the fact that she's directed Vincenzo, there was a lot of style in the way the drama has been shot or the characters carried themselves. Yeah. So I felt a lot of similarities on that aspect, which I really enjoyed. The background score was great. It was haunting and it made you distrust the characters and what it was going to happen next. I loved the background score as well. I felt like it was its own character in the drama. You take away the score and the drama will fall flat a bit. So the impact of the scenes was heightened by the score in the background. So I loved that a lot.
Agree with you 100%. 100%. What were some of the best parts of the show for you?
Okay, so I was actually taken aback by how flawed these sisters were. Okay, how reckless In Kyung was as a reporter. Inju's naivety and innocence. She's doing things which we'll discuss when we go to the spoiler section. Made me pull my hair apart. I was like, girls, be a bit rational. What are you all doing?
Right.
So I understand we want smart characters, we want kick-ass women, but in reality, a lot of people are gullible and a lot of people are naive and a lot of people do reckless things. So I quite liked how these characters were portrayed in this drama, the three sisters. My biggest takeaway for me, I think, was I was quite in awe that it's an all-women team. The director, the writer, the antagonist, the protagonist, even the antagonist's right-hand woman. She was not a right-hand man, it was a right-hand. The goon was also a woman. So having such a women-dominated drama made it all the more enjoyable for me to enjoy this ride. The men were kept at a supporting cast positions, and they stayed true to it, and it pushed the women's story forward. That's what I felt. And I also thought that every actor, whether big or small, brought their A game to this drama. Everybody acted well. They held my attention. I wanted to know what's going on. Even if it was a minor role, I enjoyed watching everybody. So that's my summary of what the best parts of the show was. The whole cast was very exciting to watch.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it was basically the same stuff. I really appreciated the all-women team that was leading this show, whether behind the scenes or in front of it. And yeah, having flawed characters is always kind of like the better thing to do in a drama. Like in just writing in general, it just makes things a lot more nuanced and interesting to watch. And that's why I think a lot of people wanted to know what I thought, what other people thought, because there's a lot to take away from here, and there's a lot to kind of discuss, whether on the whole or at a micro level. And unlikable characters, whether because of their naivety, because of their recklessness, or whatever else, make for better storytelling, something to kind of sink your teeth into, because an infallible hero is always just going to be a one-note infallible hero. And in this case, there were no heroes. And
no heroes,
nearly everybody had an issue, like a villainous issue to them. And that's a lot more realistic to me as well.
And trust me, in the first half, so by the fourth or sixth episode, I kept wondering which of these sisters is going to tip to the dark side and drag everybody into the abyss. Like, I kept waiting, who? And I kind of had my money on one of them. And at the end of the drama, I was relieved that she didn't tip to the dark side. So this constant, the writer put this fear in your head that somebody is going to tip over. Somebody's going to tip over. They're not white. They are grey.
Yes.
And I liked that aspect that she brought about.
It's playing on not only the characters and their trust between one another, but it's playing on the audience itself. And our trust with the characters. Who should I believe? Who should I trust? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they going to screw everybody over? Are they just after the money? And all of these things prey on your mind. And that's why it was such fodder for theories, like online.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is not a spoiler, but actually, Ji-Hyun's character asked Kim Go-Eun's character, don't you trust me? And without hesitation, she goes, no. So there were memes around this that basically all the audience to every character in Little Women is like, no, we don't trust you at all.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It was hilarious.
Do you trust me? Absolutely not. No.
I found it.
Can Dolly Parton see her toes? No. Don't trust you.
And obviously it was more dark there. So there's dark comedy or tragic comedy. Have you seen Sky Castle?
Not yet. Okay. Not yet.
Whenever you get there. So it's where the scene is dark. The premise is very, gruesome. And yet there are elements of comedy that get inserted, or a black comedy or satire that gets in. Yeah. Little Women didn't do that on a full scale, but there were moments of such instances, especially with Inju's character, that I felt that, she had these moments where she would... that's why I loved Kim Go-Eun in this character a lot. There were moments where she had this revelation that, oh, I think I've cracked this. And then the next moment she's like, did I mess it up again? So she used to have these to and fro transitions. And I think she pulled it off. Her face, her expressions were fantastic to watch.
She's great. No complaints about Kim Go-Eun. And I do appreciate you bringing up the black comedy or the dark comedy aspects, which were almost imperceptible in the show. And the writer has done that in previous movies, especially that she's written, because I haven't watched Mother from 2018. But I know that her work with Park Chan-wook is full of these dark comedy moments that are kind of morose, kind of like, if I don't have that sense of humor, then I definitely won't catch it. But if I do, then it's almost like an Easter egg for those that have this kind of sensibility and might find humor in a very dark situation.
Yes.
And I appreciated that in the show. Kim Go-Eun was definitely a source of comedic relief in some places,
She
for
was.
sure.
The two scenes which stand out, which we'll get to, I just cannot get over how quick her reactions were. She was back to being her naive, innocent, where am I caught in web again?
What were some of the worst parts of the show for you?
I think I have my cribs about the show where I do think they went a bit over the top in some bits of trying to shock the audience or trying to keep the shock element every episode. They could have toned it down a bit. And I don't want to talk about it now in this non-spoiler section because that's giving away the spoiler.
Absolutely.
And there were two plot devices which are very sensitive issues around alcoholism and suicide, which were introduced to two characters in the drama, and either they were brushed off or they were forgotten about. And to me, that didn't sit right because those two bits can trigger a lot of people and it could have caused them to switch off the show also. So if you're not going to do much around these sensitive issues, I think you can not use them as plot devices at all. Or if you do, give it closure. That's what I felt.
You know what? I didn't even think of those things, but I agree with you 100% about those two aspects of the show. And of course, we won't say like exactly how they fit into the plot or what characters that pertains to in this side of
section.
Spoilers, because we're not going to spoil the show right now. But that was kind of what's the word? Irresponsible.
Yes.
Especially when the writer and the showrunner, the director, are so in tune with wrapping up loose ends and so careful with other bits of the plot, they could have definitely made some room to kind of address these two very important things, the alcoholism and the suicide stuff, which absolutely will trigger some audience members. It is actually very serious to kind of even include that as a characteristic of certain characters, right?
Exactly.
So, and it's really just not even dealt with. You're right. It's not even like given closure towards the end of the show.
It was never brought up again. And to me, that didn't feel right. People are struggling with those very, very severe things. And that's, like I said, that could hit people in the wrong way, the way it was dealt with. Yeah. So
was there anything
were
else?
I think.
That was it? Okay.
Did they try to complicate the plot? Oh, so this
Hell
is
yeah.
again...
Yes, they did try and complicate the plot, especially during the kind of endgame episodes. And that's when I was like very confused. My sister would say, "You were foozled," because I was confused to no end. And I was wondering how certain characters were able to do different things when I thought they were on this side of town or doing XYZ. And then all of a sudden they were actually here and they were plotting this on the side, or they managed to get over here and intercept these people and do this while so-and-so wasn't looking. And there was a lot of like deception after deception after deception. And I felt very strongly for Inju's character, Kim Go-Eun's character, because she's just kind of getting, jerked around.
She was just
by everyone around her.
Yes.
Everyone who's smarter than her, everyone who is financially literate, everyone who has something to lose or something to gain, not just her, is absolutely manipulating her and using her in the final few episodes, especially. And I got overwhelmed completely. I just kind of settled on more general ways of understanding the episodes versus like the actual details of stuff that happened. And I wonder if a lot of other people felt the same way. I think you probably had a better grasp on everything than I do. You're like, yeah, I did.
No, like I'm saying, because I didn't binge it, right? When I came to the episode 11 and 12, a lot of theories in my head were cleared up. And I knew what to expect because I was waiting for two of my theories and they came out right. And then it was just a matter of how they solved it and showed it to us. So I was okay. In a long time, I felt that actually the finale of the drama wrapped up a lot of loose ends. They didn't leave too many loose ends, maybe one or two. So I can forgive them for that. But it was, you're okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But for me, I was very satisfied with what they did in the finale with the characters. Like I said, we'll discuss the couple of loose ends or plot holes. But I can forgive them. I've come to a point where K-dramas can drag so much in between. So if I've enjoyed 90% of the drama, I can let go of the 10% and not crib about that 10%.
You know what? You have a point, because when you get those 16 and 20 episode dramas, you will have fat to trim, and you will have superfluous storylines, things that don't really feel right. And you kind of forgive it if the drama's really good, and if not, if the drama's kind of mid, then you're sitting here and complaining about it.
Correct.
Which is fine. That's your prerogative. You know, it's the way it was written, and it's art, and you can critique the art. But
exactly.
This drama was pretty tight at 12 episodes.
It was.
It was moving. Like, the plot was moving for most of those 12 episodes. Like, it was not stagnant at all. Yeah. So I kind of feel you when you say, like, well, I like 90% of the drama, so I'm going to be a little kind to that 10%. Exactly. Yeah, I get you.
I mean, we watch so many K-dramas which are quite ludicrous. So, I mean, it's okay.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I'm almost hesitant to talk about some of the general stuff that might fall into, like, the themes of the show.
Yeah.
Without kind of getting into spoilers. So I wonder if we should just give our scores and jump into spoilers at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So what would you give this show out of 5 soju bottles?
I'd give it a 4.
4 soju bottles.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, I really enjoyed it, and the ride was a wild ride. So
it was wild.
It was wild. I will love another show like this.
Okay, I think I would give this show 3.5 soju bottles, and I'm kind of on the fence. I want to go 4, but this is not like my favorite drama by any stretch, and there were a lot of points again where I was very confused. And maybe if I watch it again, I won't have such a, hang up with it. Maybe if I sit with it longer, because I just finished it today.
I know.
And so I'm gonna give it 3.5 right now, but it's probably gonna lean higher than that later, because scores can change. People change. People rewatch things, and you're like, wow, why did I hate this before? Like, I love it. It's great, or whatever. So
yes, it happens.
3.5, but probably in the long run 4.
I think it's fair. No, but I think it's fair, because I get it where people are, and I've read a lot of reviews, just to. I thought maybe I am like overhyping or loving this drama too much. So I wanted to go see. But like any popular drama, they will have polarized views. People have absolutely hated it and called it like the worst mukbang or whatever. And there is a people like me on the other side of the fence who've loved it. And we're like, it's not a mukbang. It may have had elements, but it wasn't a mukbang, because really it was quite intelligent writing in terms of the characters and how it all folded together. So I don't see why you would be like on the fence about this drama, especially the last, like you said, it got complicated in the last 2 bits. Yeah. So here's what I think drama writers could have done better is, if you're putting at the center of the drama a financial crime, which is not very easy for a layman to follow, maybe explaining
Yes, I'm the layman.
Maybe explaining the workings of it and how these transfers can happen, etc., would have helped. There is a concept of where you talk to the breaking the fourth wall, where the characters talk to the
So you thought
audience.
They should break the fourth wall? Wow.
No, I'm not saying that it could have worked. I'm just saying that maybe the audience needed a little more explanation around what's going on. Maybe through a voiceover or something like this. Just trying to get through the plot devices of some narration in the background or something like that. So maybe that might have helped. I don't know. I'm just trying to say, or from Inju's perspective, who was the naive person there, trying to understand what's going on. Maybe. I don't know.
So, I mean, just to kind of jump in here with an analogy, the financial crimes and the money laundering schemes and the slush fund stuff, that's all fine in theory, because I understand the general concept of what these things are. But the show deals exclusively with how they get from point A to point Z. and all of the inner workings of such an operation, and what exactly are these people doing in their day-to-day jobs for all of these slush funds and the money laundering and stuff. And to me, money laundering is, again, like an abstract concept. Like, how do you, to me, you're talking about, you know, astronauts getting to space. I understand how they get to space. Yeah, they get in a spaceship and they get to space. Fine. But if you're talking about how exactly they are pushing buttons here, how exactly they're training for such a thing, how did they get the job, if there's connections involved, all of that, from that to take off, you know, that's a mystery to me. So that's why I'm saying, in theory, I understand what these people are doing and what this topic of the show is about and what the crime is. But, you know, I don't know how the astronauts specifically get to space. So that was like the topic of a lot of stuff, what they're dealing with. So that's why I say maybe if I watched it a second time, I'd get a little more out of it. And
probably, but I do feel for the audience where I felt that was kept a bit cryptic and not fully explained. And like I said, those who are from the financial industry will also find the plot holes and think, hang on, this is not that easy. You're showing it too easy.
I would love to talk to my dad, actually, because my dad has been a banker for his whole career. Yeah. And he's worked in fraud.
Yeah.
For
you
almost
should totally
his entire
talk to
career.
him.
So I should totally talk to him about the money laundering and the slush funds and what the banks would do, what kind of security measures they have, because you're right. Towards the end of the show, shouldn't some of these banks be questioning like why these people are still handling these vast sums of money?
And there's huge
freely.
It's not small deposits. This is huge money we're talking about. Okay, and you have to look at their credit worthiness, or maybe I'm going too technical, but you have to look at their occupation and what their financial standing is and
their risk.
Why that money is coming through. So. Yes, I had my grievance, but like I said, I let go. So it's television. It's okay.
It's television. All right. On that note, we're going to get into spoilers right after this.
Excuse me, 뭐라고?
괜찮아.
You know, I have no 친구. Oh, sorry.
Swear, disgusting shit.
What?
All right, we're on the other side of spoilers. So Minal, I don't know where you would like to start, but you did mention that you had a couple of qualms having to do with the suicide and the alcoholism that weren't necessarily rounded out in the plot in a satisfactory manner. And that kind of felt irresponsible to you. And that was a complaint that you had about the show. Did you want to talk about that in more detail right now?
Sure. So this is a big spoiler and it hits you it hit me at least. I was not expecting this, where In Kyung is shown to be alcoholic and she's actually drinking alcohol. We see her sipping mouthwash and then it's revealed that it was tequila alcohol and she's doing it to...
I'm sorry, but I have to jump in here because
go on.
This was like episode one where she's shown on the job. She's a journalist. She's on call all the time, and she keeps chugging like this mouthwash, like swishing around the mouthwash in her mouth, and then swallowing the mouthwash. And I had such an issue in my head. I was like, why does she keep swallowing the mouthwash? Is there a mouthwash in Korea that you can just swallow afterwards and is it toxic to you? And then when they reveal that she's an alcoholic. And that she has bottles of tequila hidden in her desk.
Who keeps bottles of tequila in your office desk?
Who keeps the bottles of tequila at their place of business at work in their desk? I was like, that's just begging for issues. So anyway, she was very stupid about it in that respect.
Very stupid. Okay. Stupid.
So she brought in all of those bottles to the office. Like I was very... And then, of course, I was... very taken aback. I did not see it coming that she was an alcoholic. And I thought I was the stupidest person on earth because looking back, of course she was an alcoholic. Like looking back at all those times that she was swishing around the alcohol and then swallowing it, I was like, of course she's a freaking alcoholic, and that's straight alcohol, straight tequila in the mouthwash bottle. So I felt like an idiot.
I had the same feeling. I was like, I did not see this coming. Why did I not see you? And they actually did a product placement with the mouthwash. I actually wanted to Google and check, can you swallow this mouthwash? What is this product that they are
Right.
talking about? Are showing us. I was like, are you kidding me? Tell me something. Who keeps 6 bottles of tequila? I just couldn't get over that scene. I'm like, this is not on. This is not on.
It was the bottom drawer, like where you keep folders, you know, like upright.
Yeah. I'm like, this
filled
is crazy.
with tequila bottles.
And
I could
not
not
one.
fathom.
Not
one, like a bunch.
Like a bunch. Like half a dozen bottles sitting in your desk. Are you kidding me? And are you telling me that nobody
surprising.
saw her open the drawer
Nobody saw
ever?
her bring in the alcohol? Like, it was so many questions.
So many questions, okay? So
just inconsistent. But anyway.
And I thought that they would bring that plot in because she gets, she loses she gets suspended, then she gets fired. Then her aunt is telling her, oh, I used to drink when I would go for work. Why is it such an issue? I'm like, are we seriously having this conversation?
But and then it was worse for her because she was a nurse.
Exactly.
She was working in the medical field. And you're telling me she was drinking on the job. As long as she got her job done and wasn't causing any issues, then she could just drink on the job. Exactly. I was like... I was getting hot, you know what I'm saying? Like when something really upsets you, you're just like,
are you seriously having this conversation? And is the great aunt actually not thinking that alcoholism, her niece's great niece's alcoholism is not that severe, is just what everybody does? Are you seriously having this conversation? So that kind of put me off a bit. And what I thought, because the credits, I love the credits, by the way. The whole art and the graphic. And there are a lot of clues in the credits also at the end, which is like a last supper with the frames and all the clues of the dramas come together in that. But In Kyung's character is shown sipping this whole chalice of alcohol and then she puts it on her head. So I thought that's a big plot device which is going to hamper or impact her story in the 12 episodes. But we don't see anybody talk about it ever again after the first 2 episodes or 3 episodes. Then she's afterwards going out with her friend and drinking. No rehab. Nothing. There's nothing.
You're right. There's no active way
we don't
portrayed that she is trying to kick the alcoholism.
Exactly.
Her addiction.
Yes.
And she does make a point at some point of saying, I'm going to get clean or whatever. I'm going to stop drinking alcohol. And you never see her struggle with that throughout the rest of the show. It's like she stops cold turkey and she never thinks about alcohol ever again throughout the rest of the show.
Because addiction of any kind will have huge withdrawal symptoms. There will be huge withdrawal and you have to go into rehab if you know you are an alcoholic. How were there no repercussions or any of that shown, or it was just brushed away? So my point is, don't show it. Don't show her as an alcoholic. It wasn't critical to the plot, was it? Other than her getting fired from the job. So what was the point?
But I would rather her just get fired because she drank one day on the job or just had a bad day or something. Exactly. Versus she was systemically drinking alcohol every day with the freaking tequila bottles in her desk and the whole thing that we have issues with.
Yes.
So, that is a different story than she has one bad day. It's
and
bad
that's
optics and she gets suspended and then fired later because of other reasons. Other machinations. But I agree with you completely. The suicide stuff, I don't know, every character seems to have a brush with suicide, or was it just the cult members of this society that were demanding suicide of their members whenever things got dicey for them?
Yeah. So I think the cult, so there was, this is where a lot of people wanted more explanation on the Jogran society and the modus operandi of the society. What I drew at the end of the 12th episode is they didn't want to go deep into it. They just wanted to establish the concept of what cult and brainwashing can do to people. And these people are either in a desperate situation, in debt, or they are weak, or they are the most least powerful in the society, where they probably have no agency and they are going to get dragged into it. I think the society was targeting people who could work as the members and promise them or their family members a better future in return for their lives. I think that was the ideology that was being driven down.
You absolutely brought up a great point that the top members of this Jeongrang society were not just targeting the sisters. They were even the people within their own membership were also victims. Like they were also being manipulated on a gigantic level.
Yes.
They were, indoctrinating children because they had like the school scholarship system, and they were constantly recruiting vulnerable people. And the old clip of the general talking about like the farmers and the teachers and whatever else, and he was naming poor people, like people who were not in, middle class or above. These were the bottom rung of society. And, it was kind of empowering for them when they joined the Jeongrang Society and they became part of the International Orchid Society Club thing. And I finished the show without ever having thought of the word cult. When you started talking about cult, I was like, of course it's a freaking cult. Like that makes perfect sense that these people have, brainwashed all of these, lower level individuals, quote unquote, to do their bidding and kill themselves or kill their family or just sacrifice whatever they need to. And it really rocks you kind of towards the end when things start to spiral even more and you see the depths of this society and how many people are involved in it. And just
in India, it's so common with these god men and these followings and certain sects, etc. There is so much of this cults happening, and blind faith is dangerous, Jess. In many aspects, it's very dangerous because you stop rationalizing and you stop thinking for yourself. You are letting somebody else do the thinking for you, and then you are just doing their bidding. And this is very dangerous, and brainwashing is very, very, it happens all the time. We see it, be it religious or be it on any level, it happens all the time. So I think this aspect of what Little Women brought out, a lot of people missed, I feel personally, but this was a big aspect.
I missed it because I never connected cult, like the cult aspect of the group to the society and everything that they were doing, because it fits to a T.
And I don't know much of the Vietnam War history because there was a bit of a backlash in Vietnam as to how the Koreans' role in the war was shown and, where the general comes from. But it was that the Korean soldiers went as mercenaries, to help the Americans. And the way it is shown in Little Women is both the government and CIA thought they were dispensable, so they sent them on a mission which they would have never come back alive from. So they went through that feeling of abandonment by the government. Now, of course, I don't know the history of it, so I'm not in a position to comment on it. But what was shown as a theme was when you are abandoned, then they decided to get their revenge was to go
on
rogue.
The country.
So you go and corrupt all the pillars of the society. What? Politics, medical. So why were they grooming the children? So they can install them in different aspects of the society, in medicine, what runs the country, right?
In media. That was a major one because...
Big one. Mari was a big character, right?
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah.
Then how you manipulate everything in construction, in infrastructure. That's why the miners, the
real estate,
farmers, the real estate, they have sat back and gained control and are treating everybody like puppets. That's what was happening. And obviously, that's why people felt that they would have liked a little more explanation on the Jeongrang Society. But it didn't take away anything from me from the drama. I understood it's more of symbolism and for people to left it open to people for interpretation. That was my takeaway. So there. But on the suicide bit, by the way, coming to the fact that Hwa-young went to a suicide website and thought it was okay for somebody who wanted to commit suicide to groom her to look like her, leave her in an apartment and go decide to live her life and get on with her agenda, she needs to pay for it. She's paying for the embezzlement, but nobody brought up the issue that she needs to pay for recruiting that person and putting that person. How can you do this?
I see what you're
Morally, it is so problematic to me.
So Hwa-young was the character that was kind of a MacGuffin throughout the whole show, where she was like, is she alive? Is she dead? How is she integral to everything? She's kind of been the mastermind, one woman show for a lot of the havoc that she caused the society and the upper members. And she comes back at the end of the show.
Yes.
Got a grand resurrection in K-dramas in Makjang style. We have her, a dead character, come back to life. And she was never dead to begin with.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is that like kind of glossed over aspect that I think she recruited some suicidal person to pose as her. And that is the body that they find in her apartment and they assume is her.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I like necessarily latched on to it the way that you did, but it's a loose end because they don't necessarily say that that's what she's imprisoned for.
Correct.
Because the embezzlement is so much more present in the show than anything else. And like this issue of like, whose body is this doesn't really matter in the context of the show. And you're absolutely right that is kind of a major issue that they just don't cover.
Yeah. There were no answers, no questions. I'm like, why would you bring this? Worst, you could have shown she gets hold of a dead body. She bribes somebody in the morgue and gets a dead body, looks like her, and puts up the dead body, something. But then they had to show Sangha come and kill her. So it was so staged. I was like, okay, this is not sitting right. This whole concept of, this getting somebody suicidal and having them murdered just didn't sit right with me, to be very honest. So yeah, that left me
because their identity and what they're struggling with is not even relevant. You know what I'm saying? They're faceless.
Exactly. So yes,
it just feels like a device in the plot versus an actual, semi-responsible way to deal with. Even if it is a random character, we never find out their name, never find out what they really look like, whatever. This, she should feel maybe remorse or guilt for having done this.
Something.
To this poor, vulnerable person who wanted to commit suicide. So, I understand where you're coming from completely.
So those two aspects, really, I think they should have done better. Or not even included. They should have figured some other way to, get the Sangha thing and the story out. But yeah, that's what. But
I think you touched on Sangha, though, and what an interesting, chaotic character. And I kind of, if I had guessed anything in the course of binging this show, it was that she was the ultimate villain throughout the show. And there was something like, just like how the sister was like, there's something up with this guy. There's something up with Jae-sang.
Yeah.
I don't like his look. He looks super shady. He's definitely like a cold-blooded killer. And nobody was behind her. Everyone was questioning her. The friend as well was like, how do you see this from this one video? That was me with Sangha's character. Because they put her on the screen and I'm like, she's playing a victim.
Yeah.
And she is totally off. And that is what happened, and it happened in spades. Did she go fucking nuts and crazy by the end? And she, there's so many things that I have to get off my mind necessarily, and I don't know where to start. But she was a mother to this poor girl Hyorin, who she hyped up on drugs, was medicating probably with unchecked impunity. What the hell was she giving her daughter day in and day out? So she was doing that, and she was also manipulating to know it's sexually, more often than not, her husband, Jae-sang.
True.
And was playing out this elaborate play, so theatrical, and torturing people just for her own enjoyment.
This was saying for fun.
How
psychotic she was. She was really crazy. I have not seen a crazier villain like her, honestly. She just went off the rails completely. I mean, she actually admits, right, to Principal Jang, the second in command of the general, when they are in the hospital, that my husband will weigh the pros and cons before murdering people. I will just go for it. I should have been the natural leader for you guys. I'm like, this woman is totally on drugs.
It's hard because she was hidden, her motivations and her craziness was hidden throughout most of the show.
Yes.
Of course, I'm sitting here tooting my own horn saying I saw something wrong with her the whole time. But what is Little Women, the show, trying to say about female pleasure? Because the only person in the entire show who is enjoying themselves, doing whatever the hell they're doing, is literally only her. She's the only person taking pleasure in controlling and manipulating others. Everyone else is just kind of going through the motions, whether they're defending themselves or they're offending others. They're doing it because of their own agenda, but they're not necessarily reveling in the pain of others. But she is.
Yes, she is.
So
totally.
What the hell is that message? I feel like that's a whole essay that we could have
Totally.
on the side. What is Little Women trying to say about mothers? Because the point but the show makes a point of basically focusing only on the mothers. There are a couple of father figures, especially Jae-sang is the major father figure that they show. They show, is it the general, I think, who's in comatose?
Yes,
is that who
father.
That was? Okay.
Her father, the head of the one who established, the Jogron Society. Yes.
So they show him, but he's comatose. So very few father figures, plenty of mother figures, and every mother has an issue,
problem.
Is not suitable to be a mother. And, even though the Jae-sang is there as the one lone father figure, he has very few redemptive qualities. And I think Wea-jun's dad is also shown as well. He's the incel guy with all the weapons.
Yes, so he actually is the traitor. He was the core team of Jogron Society, but he realizes that as soon as Jae-sang takes over and the CEO, he's very loyal to the son, the CEO who is put into an asylum, the general's son, Song-a's brother, Song-woo. And the director is, Doyle's father is very loyal to them, and that's why he goes rogue on them, because he wants to expose them and he wants to put a full stop to this entire society and cult. That's what his plan is. So, but they also he gets arrested and we don't know what happens either.
Yeah, we don't know what the hell happens to the dad after they arrest him for the weapons on a weapons charge. But I mean, since episode 1, they have the writers and the showrunners have strong opinions about the mothers.
Yes.
Someone says some people should never become mothers. Sadly, our mother is one of them.
In Kyung and Inju say it to Inhe. I mean, she runs away with her daughter's
birthday money gift.
I couldn't fathom this, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I have in all caps "fuck that mom" in my notes
Exactly.
because I hated her. I was like, "That was what the first 20 minutes of episode 1. This happens."
Yes, and she tells her, "You are young. You'll have many more opportunities." What the hell? Which mom takes away her daughter's money?
I was absolutely stunned. That we're kind of starting off on this foot, that the mother is traditionally a pillar of family, a pillar of stability, especially in K-dramas, and every mother figure is fucking nuts in the show.
Yes.
Cannot be counted on for one single thing. They're murderous, insane people.
Yes.
Or they're unreliable thieves.
Or they're abandoning their kids. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you realize even when she keeps obsessing over Yorin, but when Inhe and Yorin run away, there is no remorse about the fact that her daughter has run away. The remorse is that I may have lost to these two, to Inhe. I may have lost the plot. Okay? It's not about my daughter's gone away from me.
No.
She doesn't have
She doesn't care
emotion.
about her well-being at all.
Not at all.
Ooh, it's ugly. It's just ugly, you know?
It's very ugly.
And my next question, talking about how the tragic portrayal of mothers in the show is why did they choose the story of Little Women to do this adaptation? I would love to ask you that question. And I haven't really sat with the question that long, but here's my 2 cents from thinking about this question. Is that Little Women is a story of female empowerment and of, sisterly bonds and overcoming poverty, with just joy and the love between sisters, between family and friends. And it is a story of the next door neighbor, right, who's Laurie and his grandfather, who are extravagantly rich. And their next door neighbors who are extravagantly poor, coming together and finding commonalities and hanging out together and comforting each other during this time, because the father, again, is absent.
Because he's at the war, right? He's in the war.
Yeah, he's fighting in the Civil War. On the good side, so to speak, he was a Northern soldier. And that is turned completely on its head.
Completely.
In this story, right?
Yes.
You have terrible fathers. You have shitty mothers. The rich and the poor are not singing Kumbaya together and having family dinners together. No one's giving each other, pats on the back for giving away their Christmas breakfast and things like that. Beth never receives a piano. That sister actually died way earlier in the family history. I mean, it is just horrific.
Yes.
And I think they chose that story on purpose because it is beloved. And you can see the characterizations ever so slightly in these sisters.
You do.
You have the bookish sister that's Jo, and you have the eldest who's looking out for the others.
Who wants the good life, who wants the money.
Who wants a good life, who wants money, and that's Meg.
Yes.
They're there in spirit, but the spirit of the book was bastardized in this adaptation, truly. And it is kind of, I don't know what they're trying to say. Like, what do you think about the choosing of Little Women?
Yeah. So this is why I think a lot of people also didn't like the drama, because they wanted to just see the adaptation of Little Women.
Right.
And she just turned on its head and she's like, look, I'm going to set it in modern. I've not read her interview or what her thoughts were, to be very honest. This is just my own, how I saw the drama.
You know what? Let's pause here and say it doesn't matter what they say in interviews, truly. This is art. Once it's out in the open, it's art. And we can interpret it however way we want. And you know what? If we interviewed them and our interpretation is completely different from what they had in mind, I'm sure they would be completely okay with it.
Yes, possibly.
So there you go.
So I think she wanted to address like I said in the very, very first half, the modern day theme set in Korea and how capitalism impacts the common man. I think that's what they wanted to bring. And the class difference, we do say now people are more empowered, people have more opportunities, but I also feel that capitalism drives a huge class drift as well. And that's a fact of our lives, okay? There's nothing right or wrong, but this is a consequence of what is happening in the society. And power corrupts, greed corrupts, money corrupts. I think that's what she wanted to bring those themes in. But how do you pull the hook on the audience is get them to, from a classic popular novel, and let me throw the modern day problems in your face from all sides, where there's not a single happy character, and let me see what you think about it. That's what they played at. I like what they did, and I also don't like what they did. You can always argue, when people, there's so many people out there who hate film or TV adaptations of literary works for whatever reason, because, it doesn't follow the original. They cast someone who looks different from the book, whatever. And to me, I am never one of those people who really gets upset when they change things from the book and the movie's vastly different or whatever, because again, it's art and it's an interpretation. Subjective. And it's, even if the characters have the same names and go through the same things, you can make changes. Like, that's their prerogative. Exactly. And you will always have the book there to be steady and sure and give you that comfort that you wish for that you have whenever you read the book. Correct.
People want like a 1-for-1 all the time. This went beyond not doing a 1-for-1. This went into like the soul of the book was,
shredded,
shredded, tarnished. And I think that should probably disturb people more than, hey, they didn't give Beth a piano, or hey, they didn't set this in Civil War era America, or they didn't have a marriage at the end or whatever. They didn't have the great Joe and Lori confession that is very popular in all the adaptations. They didn't have any of that. They did away with like the favorite stuff.
Yeah, but Jess, they did get Joe and Lori together at the end. Maybe you want to give the right to that.
So segue from all the heavy talk. They actually got Lori and Joe, those characters, together.
Exactly.
And In-kyung was, spouting the same thing as her book counterpart, saying like, we're not good together. We're just very comfortable with each other. We don't need to be romantic partners. You don't excite me and all this stuff. Fine. So I was like, okay, her archetype is the same. Then towards I think it is the last episode. She actually gets with the Lori character, who is played by Kang-hoon, and the character's name is Ha Jung-ho, and that guy actually gets the girl, and I was so surprised.
Yeah, me too.
Of all the changes, that was the one that really surprised me.
But I'll be honest, I didn't go expecting that she would stay true to the book at all. I actually wanted to see how she's going to alter it to modern day Korea. I want to see. I wasn't even sure if it was set in the modern day Korea or she was going to go a little historic. I don't know, set it in with when the Japanese were, when Korea was under Japanese colonial rule. I didn't know. But when I saw the first episode, because I watched it with such an open mind, I said, this is going to be wild. Am I up for it? Yes, I'm up for it. Let's go along with it.
Let's go.
So I didn't really crib about the book as much. It was okay for me. But also it's not a favorite of mine. I read it. Like I said, I read it as a classic must read that you have in school.
Yeah. I mean, I have a really dinky old copy in my library that I have not read since I was a child. And it's there, but that I am going to read it again.
Exactly.
I think that you touched on capitalism, which is a huge theme or almost like a secondary antagonist in this story, is how capitalism corrupts those around it. And I almost don't want to just say like capitalism, because I love capitalism. Like
Who doesn't?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. I'm fine with
it. We're dealing with extremes, right?
Exactly.
We're dealing with extremes of capitalism and money. And at first we have I think we have competing ideologies surrounding money, to be quite honest with you, especially. We have quotes from the sister saying, people may lie, but money is honest. Exactly. And a lot of people will come at this and say maybe that money is not itself evil, but it can corrupt people and it can cause issues and all this stuff because, money itself is not evil.
Correct.
And they do kind of touch on that in the final episode, because is money evil? Not necessarily, because it provides the sisters with freedom and agency to do as they please, to finally live the life that they want.
Yes.
Right?
And we all need money, Jess.
Yes.
Are you telling me that this idealistic notion that, you can be more happy without money? No. We need money. We may need to make sure we are not greedy enough to ruin our happiness because in our quest for money. We need enough to be happy, but you cannot do without money. We can't live without money. It's a fact.
Exactly. And the obsession with money in this show is not necessarily just to have money. No. It's a form of social control, which is what the society was going for. Exactly. Was all of this wealth was not necessarily for their individual pleasure, which is what I said earlier. Like, there's very little pleasure of these characters, even though they are immensely rich. They're gaining pleasure from the application of money and using it to torture those less fortunate, and the sisters especially.
Exactly.
But they are controlling society. They're controlling the media. They're controlling all of these the real estate market and things like that. They have had a major hand in shaping Korea as it stands today, Well, in the context of the show, I should say. But
yes.
It really kind of makes you think. And I think that's the point, is to make you think, make you question. And it does feel like just as much as the psycho mom, Sangha, is experimenting on the sisters, and especially Kim Go-Eun's character, she's also kind of initiating an experiment on the audience as well. Yes. It's not just the sister's psyche that she's messing with. She's messing with our own audience's psyche. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I like you said, right? There was even where Inju, when she, In-kyung doesn't remember the third sister's death as a child because she was too small. Also, trauma can wipe off your memory or block your memory.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what happened with In-kyung. So when Inju tells her, and this is where I said the generational trauma. In-hae paints a picture of a girl dying in the woods, and she says, "It's my dying sister." And In-hae hasn't ever known because she was born after In-seon. In-seon is Beth, basically, who dies because they couldn't give her treatment on time. And then we come to know that her mom had briefly once called In-hae In-seon, and briefly mentioned that I carried my child on my shoulders and I couldn't get treatment for my child. So it's in In-hae's consciousness also that she was an unwanted child, that her mother didn't want her. That's an awful feeling to grow up with. So while on the first 6 episodes, people were hating on In-hae big time. She's such a selfish character.
Yes.
Why is she there in the drama? But come on,
I saw some of that hate as well.
Yeah, come on, think of it. Imagine you grow up with the feeling that you were never wanted in the family, and now your 2 sisters are going out of their ways, themselves being in misery, but making sure you're happy. Love becomes an obligation, and it should never become like that. So, In-hae has a whole lot of trauma internally she's trying to face, and what she wants is liberation from all of this, freedom from all of it, where she can just live her life and be happy with her sisters without this exchange or burden of how much my sisters are doing for me. And it's very Asian culture, right? How much your parents have done for you, so your parents expect you to return that when you grow up as a child. How much you do for your siblings, sacrifice, give your youngest the best. All these aspects, In-hae doesn't want that. She says to In-kyung, I want to be loved for my talents.
That was really frustrating to me because I come from a vastly different, family background. I'm a Hispanic and we're very close-knit, and I think because I'm also an elder sister, I felt completely on the side of Indu and In-kyung when they're trying to protect their sister and they're doing their best to give her a freaking birthday cake for her birthday. Yes. You know what I'm saying? They are going out of their way. Yes, they are putting themselves in harm's way to protect her and give her whatever she needs. But her saying, she hates being loved unconditionally. She thought, I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard, because she felt, like you said, she felt burdensome for all these reasons. She definitely had all of this trauma that she was dealing with. She had this morose look on her face the entire show.
Correct.
She was depressed. She was haunted. She used her art as an outlet for sure. But I didn't quite gel with the fact that she despised their love and protection and said that she'd rather be loved for her talent or for how useful she can be. Because why does she insist on gunning for love that exists with conditions?
Correct.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's right. That was the perspective. People are like, why? We are just taught to love people, our family and our siblings unconditionally, right? There's never a give and take. But she grew up with that burden. And I'm not saying I empathized with In-hae a lot, but I could see where she was coming from and why she felt that burden all the time. Because at the end she tells Inju, when they distribute the money and In-kyung, go live your life, study what you couldn't because of our poverty, and she tells Inju, buy the apartment not for your sisters but for yourself. Free yourself from thinking about us, live for yourself. And that was such a sweet message that Inju realized, that sometimes there's no harm in putting yourself above others. It's not that she loves her sisters less or whatever. It's not going to change. But Inju can spend the money on apartment and she can go buy how many branded ice creams she wants, or the lip glosses she wants to have, because she's never really lived for herself. So let her live for herself. So
I agree completely. I agree with you completely that the final scene where the younger sister is, and for some reason, in control of splitting up the money.
Which I never understood, which was the biggest loophole.
I have no fucking clue why that's happening in the final episode. Why does the teenager get to split up the bill? Like, what is that? $70 million or so? With all the players that are left. That's another loophole that we won't have to touch right now. But anyway, she tells the sisters...
We can't go explaining everything, Jess. It'll be another 2 hours.
I know. But she does give a very nice poetic reason for the sisters to do as they please, what they want in their heart of hearts. Correct. And Inju always wanted to have a home. Yeah. That was her goal, is to have a home that she called her own. And she had this really great moment with the aunt, where the aunt was like, the soul of the person connects with the soul of the home.
Of the apartment.
Yeah. She was like, if the apartment accepts you, then I have no choice but to let it. And it is very poetic coming from a lady that seems to only deal in absolutes and only deal with numbers.
I loved her character, by the way. I really
she was fantastic.
Fantastic. Really kick-ass. I was not happy that she got bumped off. I'm like, I wanted her to actually join hands with the sisters and then pitch her, because she was the insider in the group. Yeah. Right? Yeah. She knew it all. So I would have loved
She had all these documents. She was in there since the 70s. She understood the enemy. And I was like, okay, like, we got an ally here. No. She fucking dies.
I know, I was
much
upset.
Ceremony. For nothing, really. I mean...
No, not nothing. Songa realizes that she could turn on her, which is why she snaps her off immediately. Remember, she meets
what I mean is, like, it wasn't as powerful in the story as
in the story, correct.
She had joined hands with her nieces, grandnieces, and wreaked some havoc before getting bumped off by Songa.
Yes. I was very upset. I'm like, why would you kill her? It would have been more fun if there was then it would have been a little more even. The balance would have been evened out.
Yes, because you would have had more moments like when they're about to pay for the younger sister's surgery, and then she comes out of nowhere and puts down the... That was a great moment. They didn't get their way. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get the PR that they wanted out of this whole situation.
Correct.
It was a really good moment of tension, and like you didn't expect her to come out of nowhere and like pay for the surgery, but then you're like, of course that makes perfect sense because that's her niece. Like, why wouldn't she?
Why wouldn't she do it?
But moments like that could have happened in the latter half of the show, but they took her off the playing board.
Yeah, I know. So I was also I was quite sad about that, upset about that. Mm-hmm. But I think we should talk about the main characters.
Go for it. Go.
I'm going to say this, and I know you're a Kim Go-Eun fan, but I'll tell you, I was very neutral towards her, okay? I had seen her in Yumi Cell, She's in the Trap. I was watching Goblin on and off, trying to get through Goblin when Little Women started.
Yeah.
And I didn't like her at all in Goblin. I'm like, stop pulling. You cannot convince me as a high schooler. Okay.
Okay. No problem. She was in her 20s.
I was very frustrated. Like, Kim Tae-ri and Kim Da-mi convinced me as high school kids.
Really?
Not Kim Go-Eun. Okay.
Wow,
I was like, this is not sitting right with me. Okay. So I wasn't liking Goblin at all. And Little Women started, and Jess, at the end of Little Women, I started for Nam Ji-Hyun, who I loved in the drama, but my biggest moments, my favorite scenes are all Kim Go-Eun. I loved her. I loved her as an Inju. She was so naive, so innocent. I was almost frustrated to the point, Inju. Why are you blurting out everything to any stranger you meet? Mm-hmm. Why are you so open with people? Why don't you have a filter to your mouth? You are not supposed to tell everybody everything. Yeah. She was parading the 2 billion in a backpack and taking it all over. How is nobody catching her on CCTV?
When they caught her with the 70 mil back at the yoga studio in front of the same freaking locker, I was like, what? She's going about this all wrong. Like, she didn't think this through. No strategy involved. She was just like the same freaking bag. I was like, I would have gone about this totally differently.
Differently, exactly.
Yeah.
I would have taken the 2 billion won and we would have, figured our way out to get out of the country and to just be somewhere else, okay? But I also loved the fact that she was, as you said, not financially literate, right? People manipulated her all the time.
Yes.
She had no business, right? For her, she had the money and she could have deposited in small amounts in different banks, whatever, and decided to go rogue or get away from it all. But she was so loyal to her friend. She had no business investigating why Young died.
Yeah, she was out of her depth before she even started.
Exactly. But I think somewhere it's her spirit, right? She may not be capable and she may not see it to the end, but she was determined to get justice for her friend. And I loved how protective she was about her sisters as well. So within her limitations, I think Inju was fantastic. And I think everybody rallied around to help her at the end is because how Inju was as a character.
I will say that in the context of Little Women, the story, Meg is not really, the most compelling character. I would say the protagonist of Little Women is really Joe.
It's
right?
always been Joe, yes.
It's always been Joe.
Yeah.
And for them to choose Meg's, characterization to be the vehicle for this show. Of course, all the sisters are very important to the show, but really, Inju
she drove the show for me.
Is driving. Yeah.
Yes.
It's her tragedy that happens throughout the show that unfolds. And I think that was done on purpose. She's the most sympathetic one. If you throw her into this mess, who is going to incite the most audience sympathy?
It's her.
It's Meg. Yeah.
Yes. So I really love that about her. 2 scenes I have to talk about. When at the end, the father, Doyle's father, she and Inju are getting out of the hospital. And first of all, she's humiliated that they didn't think it was important to let her in on the plot because they needed her to cry. She's totally humiliated and upset. They don't think. And it shows on her face. She's so lovely. And then the police come and Doyle and father are like quite stoic. And Inju's like, hands up.
She just puts her hands up. Yeah, she's like, don't shoot.
I loved her reaction so much. I was laughing my heart out. The other bit was, she takes the punches from the
Yes.
Okay. And then when they are on the terrace, when In-kyung is...
I love this part as well. This is also in my notes, where she gets the 5 hits back.
Yes.
Oh, and she's
she was so good.
Yes, so satisfying for her to. What does she have? Like a pipe, a lead pipe? She started whacking her with it, and I was like, more, go for 10, go for 20. Yeah. So I really like that part too, because it felt like she had seized control again. Very short amount of time, because then
she lost it again.
They get taken to the basement and stuff, and they had to escape. Exactly. But I agree with you that Kim Go-Eun was such a great vehicle for this show.
Jess, if she's not nominated for Bakseng this year, I'm going to be upset, okay? I really, her and Ji-Hyun as the villain, to me, they really need a nomination, okay? I can't say she should win it because I think Kim Tae-ri already won, right? They picked it up last year.
Kim Tae-ri already won for 25-21.
You're right. Yeah, so I think she's very much in contention for a Bakseng, I think.
True.
She was fantastic.
You mentioned about just bumming off with the money and escaping. And I think that was another topic or theme of the show was, especially when the 2 girls, the younger sister and her BFF, decide to escape to Japan as if the situation in Korea is completely hopeless.
Yes.
Those with power and money, just as the show keeps harping on, they control the narrative.
Correct.
So In-kyung, the middle sister, is, by this point, you realize she's only making only small dents in this vast, conglomerate of murder and thievery that's happening. And all her best efforts don't do much to quell the evil of this cult and this family. So are the only 2 options to flee or to join? That's kind of the only 2 options that the show was these are valid options, because to stay is a futile effort. to stay to enact justice, to bring them all of their misdeeds to light. It's not going to happen. And truly, by the end of the show, it really doesn't quite happen on the level that you want it to.
Exactly. Because didn't you think Sangha had it easy?
Yes.
Didn't she?
That was literally where I was heading to next, was her demise.
Yeah.
You know, she never got the reckoning that you wanted by law or by the sisters.
Nothing.
Or by anybody that she hurt. She literally just fell into a pool of hydrochloric acid.
And what was that? That was OTT. Who fills hydrochloric acid in the pipes? What's going on?
It was.
But I had a lot of fun with that scene.
She was like, I have this button that's going to release all this hydrochloric acid. It's going to melt your friend. I was like, bitch, what?
What are you doing?
When did you get hydrochloric acid? Like,
which rookie of yours helped you fill up all of this hydrochloric acid?
it was very cartoony.
Very cartoony.
You know, this is the kind of plot that Batman villains come up with.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's not. I really didn't expect it to go in that direction.
This direction,
exactly. This is the face off that you've wanted to see the whole show.
Correct.
It's like all these women in one room, and it finally happens, and what the hell was that? What even was that?
Yeah.
She becomes a victim of her own elaborate dramatic scheme. She's all for the theatrics, and it's as much theatrics as it was very anticlimactic.
Very anticlimactic, but at the same time, I had very contradictory or opposing feelings. It's like, I cannot handle this hydrochloric acid, but I'm actually loving the poetic justice that Sangha is being killed by her own plot device, which is beautiful to watch.
I get that. I really do.
But acid just hit me. I was like, what's going on? It's mainly where I went from being in awe, I'm having a lot of fun now. This is just bordering on comedy side of things.
Yeah, somewhere inside they had this room with no doors that the mother was kept in, and then she put the younger sister in, and it was somewhere inside, and then the diorama that she made in art school.
Yes. In the art school.
Of that room and her mother hanging herself and stuff. I was like, this is very
wild.
A lot. Yeah.
But have you seen Mouse?
No, I haven't.
Okay, anyway. So the premise is basically they detect if they have in the DNA, if there's a psychopathic DNA in the fetus. And that's how you can decide the research comes up with is 99% they'll become psychopaths. 1% that presence of the gene will cause them to become 99% psychopaths. 1% could be genius. Okay. And there is a trigger. So there is a trigger. Every psychopath, there will be some trigger which will push them over the dark side. Push them over to do murder for fun or kill for fun or whatever. Okay. Her mother's death trauma, which she caused, right?
Yeah.
She already must have had psychopathic tendencies.
She was already a psychopath because she never sided with her mom. She was like, why isn't she sticking by me as a mom and wanting to be in my life when why does she have morals?
Correct.
She was questioning her mom because her mom was upset with all of the crazy misdeeds that the general was doing. And she didn't take the out that she had, which was to beg for forgiveness and beg for her life, and then she'd be led back into the family, and she didn't do that.
She didn't do it, right? So you would understand somebody with a moral compass would have understood the mother's point of view. But Sangha was so obsessed and so psychopathic in nature that she didn't. But then she also loved her mother, and she caused the death of her loved one. That's a double trauma hit to you, right? And then her mother made her stage her death or whatever so that it looks like a suicide. That's bonkers for a child, and that just pushed her off the edge. So there you have. She was
super theatrical and
super theatrical.
I mean,
And even Jae-sang, actually, if you realize, they had a very, very... He was evil and selfish and everything, but he was the only person who loved her.
Yes.
Actually loved her. That he
loved
could
her true
sacrifice.
self.
Yeah. He didn't sacrifice himself for the society. He sacrificed himself for her.
For her, because she, if anybody else had said anything, I don't think he would have done it.
He would have done it.
But because she gave him the flower,
he did it.
He did it, yeah.
He did it. I mean, that's also crazy way of showing unconditional love. But yeah, the plot did show that as well. So they had a very weird relationship.
It was weird. It was gross.
Very, very weird. So yeah.
I think the last character that I definitely want to talk about is Ji-Hyun's character.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. We have to talk about.
We have to talk about Choi Do-il, that character.
We have to
because I feel like in consuming most of the spoilerific K-drama edits that came out during Little Women's airing,
yes.
People were latching on to Ji-Hyun's character and the romance between him and Kim Go-Eun's character. There was when I finally saw it, I finally saw the almighty Little Women show, and I was like,
almighty
okay,
Little Women show.
I was like, all right. So everyone was talking about their chemistry or just the way that they interacted with each other, and I was under the impression that there might have been a romance. No, and no on all accounts. People are fucking nuts for...
Of course they are.
I don't understand how you can watch this and think he's in love with her. I don't think it even went that far.
No.
And he never acknowledged that he loved her. No. What do you think? Tell me your thoughts.
I'll be very honest. I loved their dynamic on screen. I liked that he was such a mysterious character.
Yes.
But I'll be honest, in terms of acting, if you compare on acting prowess, Kim Go-Eun was just killing every scene and every moment that my eyes were focused on her. Ji-Hyun didn't capture my attention as much from an acting perspective. But I loved their scenes together. I loved the dynamic. I loved how he dropped everything to go help her out. By the way, another bit, he was consistent. People were like, oh, he should have got together with her. If Ji-Hyun's character, Do-il, whose main aim is money, to make money, and all he has learned is only to earn money for whatever, hook or by crook.
Right.
If he had dropped the lure of whatever the nominal amount of 10 billion won versus a 70 billion won, just because he's decided, he's realized he's falling in love with Inju and he wants to spend the rest of his life with her, etc., it'd be totally inconsistent with his character. Totally inconsistent. I love the fact that they let it open and left it open-ended. They may come and meet each other again.
They could,
or they may not.
yeah.
And that's fine.
In episode 3, I have this note here that Ji-Hyun is such a slippery character with no moral standard to make him want to investigate the murders of the slush fund managers. He only wants to recover the 70 billion won.
Exactly.
And when she calls him after the guy drives his car off the parking garage, the first thing he asks is if she's all right. And at the hospital, he sits beside her. And actually, I'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, you're right that his characterization is pretty consistent. And he's ever wanted is to escape with the money and go to one of these safe cities that has all of these questionable characters living in it. And that's what he does at the end of the show. He takes his $10 billion, fucks off to Greece. And of course, in the future, you can write some sort of narrative where they get together. But was it a cut and dry thing? No. I think the most surprising thing was that he orchestrated a lot of the back end stuff.
Correct.
So that he was free to come into the trial at the end.
Yes.
And sing like a canary and actually tell the truth and save Inju.
And save Inju, yeah.
From the embezzlement and the murder and whatever else they had her going down for. So I think that was the most surprising thing, was that instead of being in that moment just self-serving and on the side of the society and all these people, he does take her side. But of course, he gets something out of it.
Of course.
He had this whole thing planned. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think Okay, go ahead. Go.
No, he was not there for the love or that he was attracted to her. He may have been attracted to her, but he was not going to sacrifice his whole life's achievements or what he's worked for just because there's this girl who has cropped up and, he needs to help her out. He's not going to do that.
Yeah, he set the plan up way before when the little sister had escaped with the other girl.
Correct.
That was when he put this plan in motion. Yes. So he's just following through.
Exactly. So, people were actually... So there were a lot of things that you want to lament about. Like I said, the plot holes we discussed about Little Women. And I thought that when the finale ended, I would see the rants coming through on 2-3 of these plot holes. Everybody was just lamenting like they missed a chance at romance. I'm like, what romance? Did you watch
romance?
The same drama as we did?
Yes. We are on the same page about that. If the writing doesn't call for a romance, why are you going to shoehorn one in there? Don't do that. And people would love to shoehorn a romance into this. Yeah. And they're reading too much into some of these scenes where I'm like, where are you seeing romance here? I'm just seeing, mild attraction. And maybe he's entertained by her, emotions. Because she's so, over the top and so getting pulled in 20 different directions. She doesn't know who to trust. And he's very consistent. He knows exactly who to trust. He doesn't have any of these issues that she has.
Exactly. But
he's not struggling to like, who am I going to trust? Who can I turn to? Where am I going to put this money? He knows exactly where he's putting the money.
What he's going to do.
He knows exactly what he is doing. And he says at the end, like, her one crime is basically being financially illiterate. And it's actually not a crime to be financially illiterate. Exactly. Like, you're not an idiot for falling into this trap.
Correct. She just got manipulated very easily. And like, I'll always say this, people are like, oh, she's dumb, she's this, she's that. Hang on, if you go through a history of financial crimes or you watch this documentary Dirty Money on Netflix, the smartest, or even Inventing Anna, which is a very bad series in my opinion, but you understand the scams that this girl pulled off.
Yeah.
Intelligent bankers, lawyers, real estate owners, big wealthy people, supposedly obviously are intelligent, right? Because they made so much money, all get scammed. What was Inju? What was Inju? And a lot of, if you look at money laundering examples at a very small scale, a lot of desperate people get pulled into the money laundering scams. That's how it works. So what are you all ranting about, honestly? So to me, I think it was justified that poor Inju just got caught in this web.
Yeah, she got caught in a web of white-collar crime.
Yeah, exactly.
And she doesn't come from that class of people.
No.
Why are you mad she got caught?
Exactly. Poor thing. I have full sympathies for her.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You just feel terrible.
You feel terrible. I feel terrible for her. Like, oh, poor thing. So, but I was talking to a couple of people on Twitter and I said, look, I don't get emotionally attached to many of my K-drama characters and I really don't care what people think about what I love. I don't care.
But we are the same in that respect. Yeah.
But I will defend Inju if anybody's starting to point fingers at her. I love her so much.
Yeah, she's pretty precious. The last thing that I started talking about it and then I stopped myself so that I could finish the thought of Wee Jun's character.
Yes.
Was the topic of identity and how towards the end of the show you finally get these sisters accepting who they are and their identity and what they want to strive for in life. And throughout the show, prior you were talking about how great the cinematography is. They did massive clues for this internal struggle and identity crisis that each sister goes through by showing the lack of reflections for each of these sisters. And in various scenes, you'll see this beautiful like window or mirror or something where that character or a couple of other characters are shown in the shot. And specifically, the sister is not in the reflection. And I feel like that is so poetic and consistent. And we're talking about Wee Jun's character, Choi Do-il's consistent nature, how his characterization wasn't changing necessarily throughout the length of the show. And in this one scene in episode 3, where they're at the hospital, he's sitting beside Inju, and the reflection in the window is only of him and not of her.
Oh, very interesting. I will go rewatch this scene
And
again.
at the end of the show, you see that she's finally in the apartment. that her aunt gifted her. And she has a
Excellent.
reflection finally.
Excellent. This is such a brilliant observation. I didn't realize this.
Oh my
I'm going to
God,
rewatch the scenes again. Oh my God.
You should
This is
rewatch
a-
some scenes and see how
Yes,
they
this is-
either they downplay their reflection or they just don't have it
Wow.
at all. And then towards the
wow.
end, you kind of, especially with Inju's character, because she was the main protagonist, I would say, of
Yes.
the story.
Yes,
She
definitely.
finally has her moment of closure and acceptance and, you know, just everything that you want to see in a character, for her to finally start over in this place, in this apartment. And she has, you know, all parts of herself, so to speak. She has her reflection with her. And it's very fulfilling to me to see this
I-
like full circle.
This was such a fantastic observation, Jess, because that scene of Inju in the apartment is one of the most poignant scenes for me in this whole drama, because it gives so much closure to Inju as a person. And people were like, oh, Inju's left alone. She's sad.
What?
She's this. I said, what?
What do you mean she's
No.
sad?
No.
She's in a fantastic
relieved.
place.
She's in a great place. She's relieved. She's relieved of the burden of caring for her sisters. She has no more issues to think about. Like I said, she can do whatever she wants with the money and the apartment and finally live her life. And she's out of poverty. This is what she wanted all her life.
All along, yeah.
Those are not tears of sadness.
No.
And there is nothing to pity her. You should be proud the message that has come out of it, that she's going to live for herself. And I would want every woman to live and put herself before anyone else. Which that's why that's a beautiful scene for me. And the way it's also, like I said, the camera work was exquisite. So I loved her in that
You're
scene.
like, I love it. Yeah,
love
it was
it.
amazing. I mean, there's lots of quotes throughout that you can
So
call
many.
to and remember. Their money is transient, so it makes you anxious.
Yeah.
Spend it on things they can't take away, like
Correct.
the aunt saying things like that. Nothing in life is free. People die when they're poor.
Poor,
I'd rather
yeah,
live
so
as a
many.
maid in
Yes.
Hyun's house than live like you two in this house. Like very poignant
Very-
lines throughout, and it's kind of endless, actually, the amount
Yeah.
of
I mean-
quotes that you can pull out from this.
The one I really loved is the rich risk their capital and the poor risk their lives. What a
Ooh.
statement that was from
That's
the
a good
CEO.
one.
That
Yes.
was one of my favorite quotes.
100%.
And even the aunt says this, right? The rich can overcome emotions. Capitalism is a psychological game. The rich can overcome emotions. And Inju says, what is that? And she's like, a sense of loss, which the poor can't ever. So loss hits the poor much more than the rich can. So I mean, some of them were really, like I said, there was a lot of takeaways from the drama, and I understand if people hated on it, but I don't think you can miss the messaging that this drama
Yes.
threw at us.
You're absolutely right. That even if you kind of dislike the way it got to the ending and some of the plot holes, especially if you are a little more financially literate than I am, but I think that's why I gave it a 3.5, borderline 4, because it is such a rich text. You can glean so much from it. It has incredible messaging, and it does such a great job of delivering all of these messages.
Agreed.
Yeah. Really
Agreed.
smart.
Absolutely.
Smart script.
Really smart. Very, very smart writing and very taut script, I felt. Very, very good. So that was
Okay, I think I've come to the end of my notes. Did you have anything that you wanted to? Oh, the Sung Joong Ki cameo as like
Oh
the
my God,
shoe
yes.
sales. When I saw Sung Joong Ki, I was
do
like,
you
"Oh, is
like-
this that
do you-
cameo?"
Do you like Song Joong Ki or not? That's the first question.
I like Sung Joong Ki. I really
I
do.
love Song Joong Ki too. I love Song Joong Ki
When
too.
I saw him, I was like, they made him a luxury shoe salesman.
So
Is that the cameo?
why?
You could have been anybody. He could have been a bodyguard. He could have been an assembly person. He could have been just a rando. Like, instead, it's
Seriously.
a shoe salesman. And I was
Salesman.
like, all right, I
And
guess.
there were theories when they said that Song Joong Ki is going to do a cameo because obviously he was in Vincenzo,
Yes,
who's director.
yeah.
Same. But they were like, he's probably going to be the ex-con husband of Inju, and it'll be
We
fun
never-
to see.
I would have preferred that.
Right? Me too.
Honestly. Oh, wow. The people got me on that one. That's a really good pull for them to say.
I really
we never do see the ex-husband.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see that. And then Song Joong-ki comes and tells her which of those shoes and how they were bought. And I was like, right, okay, fine.
Right.
Is that all we are going to get you for?
Something that's like quite irrelevant in the long run.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the other cameo was Oh Jung-se, actually. I was so excited to see him at the end of first episode. And then my heart sunk when he was bumped off. And I'm like,
he was such a creeper. With a foot fetish, right?
You know, the food fetish and that scene in Hwa Jong's apartment with Kim Go-Eun. Oh my God, I had chills down my spine.
So did I. When he was like so close to her and like, what was he doing? Sniffing her or something?
And he's such a brilliant actor.
He is.
And I kept hoping that he will come back in some flashback when they explain how the scheme unfolded.
No.
He never came back. And I was upset about it.
He was dead.
He was dead. Gone.
Yeah, not dead. He was just, because Hwa Young was dead. He was dead.
He was dead. Definitely dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were the two cameos, which were fun to watch, obviously.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else that you'd like to? Yeah, we covered a lot of ground on this episode.
My God, it's been 2 hours? Oh my God.
It's been 2 hours. At the risk of taking up more of your evening, I do want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast kind of on short notice and really, diving deep on this drama. I think so many people DM'd me and asked me what my thoughts were if I was watching Little Women, and I felt horrible at the time saying like, no, I'm not watching Little Women right now. I'm watching something else, or I was watching something else for the podcast. I'm waiting for the episodes to finish airing so that I can just binge it, which is exactly what happened to get me here on this episode talking about it. But I think ultimately we both recommend this drama.
Definitely.
And I think that it's gonna win some awards eventually at the Baeksang awards ceremony. Yeah,
it has to, Jess. If it doesn't, I'll be really surprised.
Same. We have to commiserate when the Baeksang awards come out.
True.
And the nominees get announced and they have the whole ceremony. But until then, I'm gonna let you go, Minal. Where can we find you online, actually?
Yes, so I'm, as you know, on my podcast Insta page, Crash Landed on K-Dramas. And I think you share that in your episode notes anyways.
Yeah.
But on Twitter, I'm at K-Drama_Gab, which is where I gab a lot about my K-drama thoughts. So that's the easiest place to catch me, honestly.
Yes, you are very active on Twitter. So please reach out to Minal. She is such a great voice on Twitter and she has great insights. And again, like it's kind of rare for me to be on Twitter, but Minal is. So please give her a follow on all the socials and talk to her on Twitter. She would be happy to talk through any K-drama that she's watching or has watched, I'm sure.
Love it. I mean, I feel so happy that I finally got over my phobia and got onto Twitter and Insta discussing K-dramas, and I've made so many friends, and Jess is so lovely. She and I have very fun interactions on our Insta posts, etc. So thank you, Jess. Thanks for thinking about me. I love this drama so much and I was dying to talk about it. And it just happened at the right time.
Yes, this came at the right time. And I'm Jessica, and this has been the Daebak K-Rambles Podcast.